Welcome to Corona Stories from Observing the Process. I'm your host, Alex Greenberg. And before we start, I'm hoping you can help me out by supporting the show. You can do this by going to my website, observingtheprocess.com. For just $5 a month or $50 for the year, you can become a monthly supporter. This show relies on listener support to stay on the air. So if you find this content valuable, I hope you will consider subscribing. You can find a link to subscribe in the description of this podcast. If you can't support monthly, no worries. You can help out by rating and reviewing on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you listen. You can share it with your friends, you can blog about it, or discuss it on your own podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, you can subscribe to my channel and like this video. Thank you for supporting the show. Listeners like you make it possible. If you are looking for information on how to protect yourself and stay safe from COVID-19, please get information from the CDC or the World Health Organization. Today on the show, I had Andrea Colzani. Andrea is a consultant for sustainability who is based in Shanghai but from Italy. Please welcome Andrea Colzani.
In the land of China, people hardly got nothing at all.
No possessions?
And in China, they never go to church.
No religion too?
Or do magic.
Well, it's easy if you try, Dick.
Yo, Alex. How are you?
Hey, Andrea. What's good, man? How you been doing?
Yeah, good. How are you? For me, it's all fine. You're in New York, right?
Yeah. I'm in New York. On Instagram this morning, I actually just saw your clip at Qibao. It's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Dude, that kink ledge, I'll put that in the show notes for people listening who haven't seen it yet. But dude, that was so proper.
Thanks.
All right.
So it's just how's the situation there in New York? It's getting, I see it's just getting like a bit crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely getting crazy. The numbers are really wild. But that's like kind of the extent of it, is that just the numbers are really bad. I mean, I stay at home. When I went out to Costco, which is a big supermarket in America,
I know.
I experienced like everyone wearing masks, and I was wearing a mask and a glove, and I went with my mom. She's a senior citizen, so we were able to get in an hour early, which was nice. So it wasn't as crowded, and I just we stocked up on, hopefully, which will last us at least 2 to 3 weeks, and yeah, just trying to pretty much just stay inside as much as we can.
Yeah, I know. It's just like I don't know, because like in Shanghai it was bad maybe at the beginning, but it was like kind of like the first, like to some extent we were the first one.
Before we jump into your story, let's if we could give the audience a brief introduction of who you are and what you do in Shanghai.
Yeah, I'm Andrea, and I'm living in Shanghai since 3 years now. I was living here before in 2015, and now I'm just I'm waiting for my working visa for I'm working at Tongji University for Chinese Italian program for like sustainable for sustainability. Basically we have like some different project with like Italy and Shanghai city, like about like those kind of like water, like new mobility, those kind of things. And so, but like now I'm waiting my working visa, because like it all like I just should have started like this year, but then it just like turned out like I get like all my documents, but then like the things start getting wild. So basically I'm trying to process it now. The things here are getting back to normal, so hopefully I'm gonna get it like soon.
Yeah, so I guess that's a big part of your story is everything being on pause, and you're just the paperwork. For people who don't know, in China, there's always crazy hoops to jump through paperwork-wise for foreigners, and I'm sure even Chinese citizens. It's just so crazy, all the stuff we have to put up with to get visas and go to school, and yeah, man. So you've just been kind of skating, hanging out.
Yeah. Basically, yes. Now I'm just hanging out, skating, and just like I'm like talk with my just like the one will be my boss and to just understand what I have to do now, every kind of steps, because now they're like start to reopen things up. So I'm getting ready, hopefully, if everything is fine, to go back to go to work.
And you've been in Shanghai this entire time, like since December, correct?
Yeah. I came back from I went back in Italy for Christmas. Actually, and came back at the beginning of January.
Okay.
And I just 2 days before coming back, I heard that like, in just Wuhan, there's like they found out this mysterious new virus, but they were looked like just as small stuff. So nobody was really worried at the time because they were saying like they have like 2 or 3 people. So and they already just like quarantined them. So it was like okay.
Right. It didn't seem as big a deal at the beginning. But then obviously as time went on, tell me about that. How did life progress in Shanghai?
Yeah, in Shanghai, it never really became super big here, but like we were seeing like from all the news, like basically we're like stop about after that video. I didn't basically nobody really post anything until the 20 when they start like saying like, the virus is spreading human to human. There are like more and more cases in Wuhan. And then the day after they saying that, they just like, we're going to close Wuhan. And then they could, after other 3-4 days, they close Hubei. So that was pretty kind of quick. And actually I went that day. I went like 3 days with my wife in Hong Kong. And like, because during the first day, they just closed, Wuhan was already closed. But then, like when we were there, they closed Hubei, and we just made it back from Hong Kong to Shanghai, and there was like no problem at that time because we're like that time they say like, the only whiskey area is like Wuhan, and then the only whiskey area is Hubei, and then when we come back after like few days, they're like no, everywhere is like kind of like whiskey area. So they just. But luckily we just basically we came back into Shanghai before the end of Chinese New Year. So it was like still fine to enter the city. After we came back, they just basically after 3 or 4 days, me and my wife came back. They just basically closed everybody inside the city. Just nobody can come from outside, can come inside. And if they come, they need to have special permit, like demonstrate they have, they live there and stuff like that. And also if they come in, they have to quarantine 14 days at home.
Right. Where is your wife from again? She's Chinese, correct?
Yeah, my wife, she's Shanghainese. Fortunately, she's Shanghainese.
Oh, Shanghainese.
So we never really have problem. Yeah, so we wouldn't have any problem anyway, but like, especially because she's Shanghainese, so.
And
she's like local, so they cannot like start like, no, you don't come in.
Right. So she's like guaranteed to come in as a citizen.
Yeah. But that's actually how Shanghai gets saved itself, because Shanghai, is like a province.
Right.
It's a city, but it's like a province. So what they did, like, like a lot of all the people living in Shanghai, most of them, I think is like at least half of them, they're like not from Shanghai originally. And so they just like went out for the Chinese New Year. And then this thing exploded during the Chinese New Year, during those days. And then they weren't able to come back because they just tell like, Shanghai government, like, no, you cannot come back if you have like kind of like you work in the restaurant, those kind of like work not like necessary. They tell them like, you also, if you have a job here, you have a house, you cannot come in.
Yeah.
So they just basically contain like that. So for 3 weeks, 1 month, like in Shanghai, there was like nobody.
Yeah, and an interesting thing that happened is like it all kind of blew up during Chinese New Year when people are already traveling anyways, which is wild.
Yeah, and that's why like probably in some they get like probably in places like Europe at the beginning they get a few cases people traveling for the Chinese New Year from Wuhan or from Hubei to Europe. The first 3 in Italy were like a couple of Chinese people traveling from Wuhan to they landed in Milan and then they went down through Rome, and in Rome they found out they get the virus, they get like and they were the first two in Italy actually. But then like they say like there were like other like kind of like different patient zero in Europe. Probably they even probably don't know. Like a lot of people probably go back and forth with the virus without knowing at the beginning.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
You know,
You're Italian. Have you talked to many friends and family back home?
Yeah, my mom is a doctor in like, a bit north of Milan, and it's pretty bad.
Yeah. Does she go into detail about her experience? I mean, like Italy was kind of the first place to be hit outside of China that was like extremely bad.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It sounds just crazy over there. What's going on?
Actually, yeah. I mean, my mom say if like now it's getting better over there. They say like in the last week, they say she see by herself like a sensible slowing down of people coming and people like into emergency therapy and those kind of stuff. So she's like kind of like fortunately we get like a bit more, you know, we can like breathe a bit, because before like a lot of people also die because they keep coming and they can't get like enough like ventilator respirator for people, and like people like they just literally she say like they come in and they just like they are completely conscious and but they can't breathe. Like after a while they maybe just start like they can't really breathe, so they just die like that basically. That's
Yeah,
like
I think the biggest problem was a lack of ventilators. And unfortunately,
because,
they
like,
had to make a decision to, take some of the older people off, and just like, crazy decision to make.
Yeah. So, but now, like for 2 or 3 weeks was like that. Now it's just getting better. Also because we get like more and more like ventilator and all the stuff. So, but I think it was like the same. Also the same in one. If you see like videos of the beginning one, it was like exactly the same. And like the good part about Italy then could have even worse. If you see one at the beginning, there were like so many people like running into the hospital. And like, fortunately, the like Italian governments probably see that those kind of scenes and they say like, no, just stay at home. And they get like a lot of like ambulance and stuff that just go at your place to pick you up if you're really sick. So probably also that's why they say the number is even bigger in Italy. Also, like the government say that because they just say sometimes somebody probably at home maybe doesn't really feel so sick. So they never really call the doctor, but maybe they have it. So that's why they just also stress the fact it's important to stay at home and not like getting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
let's wrap up a little bit with Shanghai. How has Shanghai been? I mean, in general, you've been skating a lot. Like that must be a completely different experience with like an empty city.
Yeah, we basically skating with like. And with Amerigo and Push, we're like trying to make like a short montage about that, a short video about like those all the experience at the beginning. So like basically was we start end of January and then finish. We basically finish already. And like we finished mid-March, and like actually it's like kind of like weird because at the beginning, like you can see the beginning, we were like thinking like, oh, it's kind of like a big problem here, but like we were like, looks like in Europe and in other places they got like few cases, but looks like it's not getting any bigger. And at the end of it, we're just like, oh fuck, it's really serious. Like nobody at the beginning here were like going out skating. We're like, oh yeah, it's kind of dangerous, not so dangerous, but like we were like always alone by ourselves, so we feel like kind of like okay, it's kind of safe. We're not that scared, but I think nobody also in Europe and America and in any place at the beginning knew that this can be like that big.
Right. I mean, I'm curious though about whether that it's actually true that it's pretty much gone in China. I mean, everyone's like people I've talked to say they're going back to their normal lives. Everyone's doing that, but it just seems like really hard to believe that it's so contained in China when it was like kind of the origin point. What do you think?
Actually, yeah, they might have some cases, but like they might also have been like something like seasonal flu. You know, once the first big hit, probably a lot of people already have it, but like they say, like now there's some studies that say the majority is asymptomatic. So there might be like a lot of people got it. So you kind of like sort of the virus is going away by itself, after a while to being like a certain area or a certain population. They got like the first big strike and then it just goes down. And then maybe in the future, like the problem is also they're scared everybody's still wearing masks. A lot of places, like for example, the Pearl Tower was reopening, but now they were closed because they just found out in Henan some new cases and they locked down one county in Henan. Like this is 2 or 3 days ago. So they also don't know because probably looks like they're like some new cases, but like they're really less. Then I don't think like maybe for sure they might be not reporting entirely, but looks like also in Shanghai they're not like just crazy cases like hospital full of people, because you pass in front of the hospital, so if they're like kind of like people like start running in, you're gonna see it, and this is not happening. So
yeah, man.
like maybe some, but like kind of like is maybe just spot, I don't know. Then like I don't think nobody knows, and everybody wish that it's gonna be like that. It's just like it's just like flu. You just go and pick, and then like after a while, it's gonna pass by itself.
Yeah, man, I get you. What do you think the future holds for yourself? I know you're waiting pretty much for your paperwork to go through. Do you have an estimated date?
No, but I think like it's gonna be hopefully in before June, actually. Because now, you have to pass through all the paper. They need to be okay. They need to be reviewed by the school. So there's like the employer, and then I get like to do the physical check, and then like process it everything for like 20 days, 30 days. You have like the foreigner expert certificate, and then like you get the visa.
Right. So, well, Andrea, thank you so much for your time. It's been really good catching up with you, and I hope to come back to Shanghai soon and we can skate.
Yeah. Let's hope. Like also because they close, so hopefully they're gonna reopen soon.
I know, man. I'm stuck here.
Yeah, everybody, but like also a lot of people like now in maybe a couple of months they need to go out and they don't know, and to do visa run and stuff, and they don't know where to go.
Oh yeah, do you know anything about that?
They don't know if
I'm pretty sure that they've extended all visas for foreigners.
Yeah, they extended all the visa for foreigners for 2 months. So for example, like Justin and Amerigo, they stay here for like 2 extra months. But for example, I think Justin at the end of May, also Johnny Tang, they need to go.
Yeah. So but for sure they're gonna. I mean, it's a crazy situation. That's because.
So they don't know.
Yeah, they don't know.
Because for example, now you can go to Japan, but then like you cannot come back. You have to
exactly.
stay,
you can't come back even if you exited.
Undefined.
So I mean, for me, my work visa expires in August. I'm wondering if that's been extended 2 months, or it's only people who have like visas that like end now.
No, I think only people like in China with the valid visa, they can exit 2 months later.
Okay. Yeah, only people that so like needed to exit at this time, it's been extended for them, probably. Yeah,
because they don't want people go around in this time, so they just say like, you better stay here and don't go away to come back. So that was before the complete lockdown for foreigners.
Yeah, I wonder about people like me, for example. Imagine if my work visa, it's every 1 year, but imagine if it expired in, let's say it expired in early March, and I was outside of the country, outside of China. Like, what's the process for renewing it? Like that would have been so weird. Like I would be stuck here because you have to do everything in China. And if you don't do it on time, it has to restart. This is crazy paperwork for them.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, it's gonna be for sure. It's gonna be a big problem.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, hopefully in the summer, I kind of guess hopefully in like June, July, hopefully it's gonna get like a bit better everywhere. So they're gonna be we're gonna start a bit back to normal again. Hopefully.
I'd be super surprised if this is still going on at the mid-June to end of June. Like that'd be such a problem for this world.
Yeah. Yeah, also because it looks like now one day you're gonna open so in like super bad places, like looks like 2-3 months is gonna be kind of okay. So also like Italy, they're gonna say like probably they're gonna try to reopen like some say mid-April, then maybe May, but they like try to just at least open up like workplaces and like start like just like open up slowly, and then like maybe just at the beginning no restaurant, no bars, no nightlife, but then like maybe just workplace, then like you can go to the park, then you can go like that and see how it's going on every week, and then every week maybe just like a small step forward, and like keep doing like that.
Totally. All right, Andrea, really good to catch up.
All right,
stay in touch, buddy.
All
Stay
right.
safe.
Yeah, you too.
Right.
Bye. Stay safe. Bye.
Boom, that's it. Thank you so much for listening. If you found this podcast valuable, there are many ways you can support it. The best way is by going to my website, observingtheprocess.com. For just $5 a month or $50 for the year, you can become a monthly supporter. This show relies on listener support to stay on the air. So if you find this content valuable, I hope you will consider subscribing. You can find a link to subscribe in the description of this podcast. If you can't support monthly, no worries. You can help out by rating and reviewing on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you listen. You can share it with your friends, you can blog about it, or discuss it on your own podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, you can subscribe to my channel and like this video. Thank you for supporting the show. Listeners like you make it possible. If you are looking for information on how to protect yourself and stay safe from COVID-19, please get information from the CDC or the World Health Organization. Also, if you enjoyed the intro and outro music, it was made by my brother, Danny Greenberg. You can go and check out his beats on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, or SoundCloud. He goes by the name Estoric, Estoric. All right, that's it for now.